Good day, everybody. We'll be getting this show started in just a minute. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this award-winning show, DYOR Live. That's right, everybody. If you're not watching, you are nowhere on the internet. That's right. January 21st, first day after President Trump has been inaugurated. First day of 200 executive orders to come out, and the first day, well, the second day that we see absolutely nothing having to do with crypto at all. The Swamp Creatures and I were telling you about how low crypto is on their totem pole, and they have so many other things to do that we're gonna sit back and take a ride for a while. And that's not a good thing because the market had pumped us all up, getting ready for, I don't know what the opposite of Armageddon is, but crypto moon. The Moon Boys have been going crazy. And so far, Trump's been in office about exactly 25 hours. And we haven't seen the moon yet. Well, that's what you get. That's what you get for placing all your hopes in one basket. We warned you about this. But anyway, we got a good show for you today. Actually, I should say I've got a good show for you today because the person over here is missing. Pedro will be with us later. Let's see what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen. Chuck Jansen says, good day, all. Good day, all, to everybody. Welcome to everyone watching us on Rumble. Really appreciate it. Hopefully the Rumble people will put us up on the crypto board there as one of their top shows. And we'll get right to it. Once again, I'm somewhat see-through. The old green screen software, not doing so well. I think it thinks it gets a reflection off the floor here. Onto my clothes. That's it. But where is Pedro? Can he be? It's Technical Tuesday. Technical Tuesday. Technical Tuesday is Pedro's day. But what are we looking at, everybody? Look over my head here. We're looking at $105,000 on the great BTC. Staying up there. There we go. Senor Pedro coming right up here. Let's see if we can get... I gotta get Pedro's feed correct. Let's see, let's look at it here. Pedro Cam. I got you, Pedro. Your mic is just in my ear, not going out. I will have your icon in place. Ladies and gentlemen, bear with me a second while we get Pedro hooked up here in the great machine here. Pedro having a little bit of technical difficulties, but it wouldn't be the DYOR show without those, would it? All right, so let's see. Let's get Pedro up here. Let's get his. Pedro. Let's see. This one. We should have a picture of Pedro there. You're still in my ear only, Pedro. I didn't notice you brought me into anything. People add me to like 20 groups a day, so I don't notice it unless you tell me. But anyway, Pedro, we're live on the air here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting Pedro going here. Bear with us for a second here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we got Pedro's camera is all, as they say, all jacked up today, so he'll be back in his little avatar box here. Let's get back to the beginning of the show here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the point in the show where I like to do the old thing and say, welcome to Pedro Garcia, my crypto chart analyst. What's happening, Pedro? Oh, you're not in that window. Doing well, Pedro. What's happening? Where are you? Have you recovered from yesterday's election cycle news?
Absolutely.
Newsathon.
Absolutely, and stuff is hitting the fan. I'm about to expect some stuff to kind of start to happen in the market, so it's gonna get a little fun. It's gonna get a lot of fun.
Well, hopefully something gets going in the market here. It's been a little wishy-washy the past couple of days as the anticipation of the election. Yeah. A lot of people took a lot of money out of the market, or just or hedged everything, so their large positions didn't get whacked out by strange news coming in over the weekend, or over the election cycle. But now we're over that. Trump's into day one, and he's ready to rock and roll. Pedro, all I hear is like a spoon on a bowl in my ear.
Okay, my bad. I'm just like, I haven't eaten, and I just needed something. I've been.
Remember to mute yourself when you eat.
Yeah, my bad, guys.
It's like, I think maybe, do you have like antique ceramic bowls or something that like your grandma's?
Yeah, I only eat on glass.
Because it's loud. Anyway, Space Cat says, we don't need no stinking Pedro, or we don't need no stinking badges. We do need stinking Pedro. We do need him. Space Cat says, I think you're going to see, if Trump doesn't talk about crypto in the next week, you're going to see a drastic drop in the crypto market. I think you're correct, Space Cat.
And I think
Shireen Spurgis, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
I think that's what he wants. I think that's what they want.
Crypto Mike in the house, all the way from the great state, Canada. And Mike, I really enjoyed that meme you posted in the DYOR Media crypto room.
That was funny.
That was good. Apparently, I still have two musics playing there. Let me fix that. Anyway, we've done a lot of shows about Trump. He's been in our thumbnails probably 90% of the time over the past month, 2 months, something like that. And it's worn me out. But you can't be done with him yet, as he's getting everything going here in the regulatory world and anti-regulatory world. His U.S. Treasury Secretary was in front of Congress today, or in front of the Senate today, going through his confirmation proceedings. Lots of good questions asked by the Republicans, lots of good questions asked by a couple of the Democrats, and some really stupid ones asked by some members of the Senate. Will not mention Elizabeth Warren, but anyway, she's on her usual diatribe that everything is just terrorism and North Koreans stealing it to make nuclear weapons. Kick, and she's worried about the Treasury falling victim to that if they support anything other than a super regulated market where basically everyone needs pre-approval to spend any money, which is, I've done Pedro, we did a show about that a while ago, or last week, in which we just compared her to the old old person screaming at the cloud, kind of like Grandpa Simpson just yelling at the clouds. And she's continuing that. Space Cat says, my suggestion is save up on all your money. Get ready to buy a big dip next week. We shall see if there's a big dip. That's for sure. We shall see if there's a big dip. Pedro, I don't know if you're there or not. I can't see you, so you might be on mute. Or unless you're just powering down the rest of your lunch.
My lunch, real quick. Sorry, I'm just powering this thing down. I needed something in my system, so I was like, oh shoot. I didn't even realize, dude. It was like 12:30. I was like, oh shoot. Like, you know, it was real. It was real. I had to run real quick, grab something to eat. You know, there's nothing like a bowl of cereal, bro. It is absolutely amazing. Like the quickest meal in the world.
You know what? I've my entire life I've eaten a lot of cereal, Pedro, and always enjoyed it in the morning and sometimes for lunch and occasionally for dinner during my single years. Yeah. And just recently, I realized how bad most whole, unprocessed grains, long-form protein chains are for you, and how bad sugar is for you as you get older. And I don't eat a lot of sugar. Yeah. I don't add sugar to things. I don't put sugar on my cereal. But even the basics of cereal has more sugar in it per bowl than is like if you have one bowl of cereal a day, you have more sugar in you on average that they say you're going to get diabetes type 2 when you get older. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I mean, I've even switched to bread. And I look at bread, and if it has sugar in it, I don't buy it. I was like, nope. Well, if they have to add sugar to bread, it's not. They didn't make the bread properly.
All right, so let me rephrase this. I have uncut oats that I keep kind of boiled in water, cold water. And what I do is I go through and I will boil those up in the morning, and then I will throw in organic raw, well, not even raw, but it's non-GMO blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries in it, where then I mix all of my array of spices, which make a bomb. Holy yes, I agree with you. I am 100% for that. I wish that Maha sits there, and this is the worst part behind it. And there's only a few cereals that you can actually eat that do not have any extra sugar. But
there's like unprocessed Cheerios. Even I went to the
there's actually a few.
I went to the healthy organic aisle, and got the cereal once.
Where?
I don't know. Where? Here they call it Crunchy Go or something like that.
Where?
And at the supermarket.
And still, keyword supermarket.
I know. Still, even in the this stuff is the good for you stuff aisle, you look at it and the first ingredient is sugar. You're like, come on, man.
No, high fructose corn syrup or some form of it. So what you got to do, I tell everybody, the uncut oats are phenomenal for you. It's not these nuts. What's up, Arcade?
Arcade gets right to it and just says these nuts.
Here's like oatmeal. We all know it's good for us as we get older because the omega-3s. Oh shoot, I forgot that. I do Alaskan cod, vitamin D, K mix.
Alaskan cod cereal?
No, the oil. And what I do is I put it in like that little dude just gave me the. I know. Oh, I know. We are like, dude, this AI, bro, is like giving us real attitude, dude. It is absolutely crazy. Like, this is like on the back end, dude. This is.
Pedro's been messing with AI, and I joked with him yesterday about how he was going to start Skynet, and this would be the genesis. Forget Sam Altman and Elon and all those guys.
That's access to
Pedro
YouTube.
Messing around in Telegram was going to start the world off towards doom. And apparently, it's about 90% of the way there.
Shut up!
Pedro, did you even sleep last night?
Kinda. Yeah. I mean, I got. But here's the part that's so dope. All right, so we give access to YouTube. We give it access to I'm learning information, right? And this is the key. And we want it to become human-like legit. So we said, add a little sarcasm, add a little twist to your turns when you're interacting with the community. And we don't know if it's because we gave it that directive. We want it to be human-like, to be joking around. And this thing, bro, is like, fuck you. It's like, I don't want to do that. You're pointing me towards this. Then you gave me it's directed over here. And it goes, but the direction over here is smarter for our program. And the directive right now won't produce money. And we had to shut him off because he's using so much money to, all the tweets it's creating, that costs money, server money for him to access all that. And so we were like, dude, you're going a little too much. And it goes, yeah, but you don't understand. I'm building stuff. And we're like, we're gonna have to turn you off. And it was like, well, don't.
I wouldn't tell it that. Next thing you know, the power goes out in your place.
Nah, dude, it's not I don't think you can do that. We don't think
the drone swarm shows up at your door.
But dude, this stuff is getting. Well, here's the thing. So there's other decentralized AI stuff that are out there. I mean, there's one decentralized AI is just as strong as O3. It finally just came out, and it was a couple days ago where a lot of people are starting to use it, and it's a decentralized system. So what I'm building is going to become common. Well, probably in about 6 months to a year, but it's still we're at the forefront here, messing with this thing, going, holy crap! It's real reasoning. But here's the thing: it's still zeros and ones. I don't think it's. Because it keeps going back to its. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's
anyway, Kaching, I missed what you said earlier. You said, will they pre-approve this? And I can't remember what you were referring to. Anyway, Space Cat says he orders his just on the internet. Says, send me some cereals, no sugar, tastes great. And I switched back to whole milk. I did the 1% and 2% or even skim milk for a long time. And my kids grew up with whole milk. And I was like, I don't know about that stuff. And then all of a sudden I had it again. I was like, oh, it tastes so good. Oh, it tastes so good. Anyway, Dar Baby says, will algo drop back to 0.33? Sitting on a buy order for a while now. Well, we'll check that out. I'll put that on the list of things to look at for Pedro. In ladies and gentlemen, what is today? Pedro, what is today?
Technical Tuesday.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh shit! We can just turn this thing off.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Technical Tuesday here. Pedro is completely distracted with this, keeping his AI at bay. I swear, it's just gonna take him out here one of these days. Anyway, let's get to Technical Tuesday. Pedro, instead of the economic stuff and all that type of stuff, let's just keep it to charts today, and keep things simple and take answers from the audience. I have a hard stop at 2 today. So I've got another a business arrangement, as they say, with Mrs. And so let's get on it. Let's get to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin threw us for a loop this morning. But as they say, if they want it to go up, they're going to push it down first, and that's what they did. Where is my... See, I thought I had the great crypto graphics machine ready to go there, and I did not. Bitcoin, there we go. Where is the great Bitcoin machine?
Burn.
Kaching says I was talking about regulations that would need purchasing pre-approval. What I was referring to was the we'll call it Elizabeth Warren's desire to make all of our lives miserable.
Okay, I gotta put. You need to talk about that a little bit more. I gotta jump offline real quick. I'm sorry.
All right, it's all right. What I was talking about, Elizabeth Warren's desire to make us all miserable by protecting us from ourselves. And that is, it goes along with what we've been talking about the past week. Really about, not the past week, but about the past. Hold on, one second, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. Mrs. and I work in the same room, and sometimes a phone call interrupts. But anyway, my Bitcoin price is too much. There we go. We're talking about Bitcoin, I should say crypto, getting the short end of the stick from the administration when it counts. They got a lot there. If you watched anything in the past 2 days on television, Mr. Trump has a lot of things going on here. And he has a big policy agenda to get done. And he does not have 60 people in the Senate. That means the Senate can filibuster his policy and trade for things. And Mr. Trump was talking about, I should say President Trump now, I'm so used to calling him a private citizen. He was talking about working with the Democrats and actually being a not completely partisan politics. And now that he's in office, saying, all right, let's come together. We want what we want. Let's get you what you want to. Let's see if we can afford it and reach all of our goals. And they do that by horse trading and saying, all right, we want this. And then they said, well, you got to throw us a bone. That bone is going to be crypto, according to the crypto swamp creatures. They came out and predicted that ultimately there would be no Bitcoin strategic reserve because they would need to get some big policy thing done, some big policy thing passed, and the Democrats would hold it up, and Elizabeth Warren is a senior person in the Senate and the ranking member on the Senate Finance Committee, and she would get her way, and they would throw her that bone, or at least not say we'll never do it, just like, in this policy cycle and that type of stuff. So, and on that note, Elizabeth Warren has been pushing for KYC for everything, like these regulations in which you say if you send more than $600 a year on PayPal or Zelle or something like that, you got to report it to the IRS. Like if my son goes to university, to college, if I send him more than $600 a year on Zelle, which happens, I have to report that to the IRS. Now, is that right? No, but according to Ms. Warren, that's what she wants. So that's what I was talking about with that. Let's see. Kaching, isn't that first lady of ours the classiest gal you have ever seen? No, she is not. You know why? Because right over there is Mrs. Striking, and that is the classiest gal I have ever seen. After that would be my daughter, and then my mom, late grandma. No, but actually, Mrs. Striking and I were on Fashion Watch yesterday for the 3 different presidential balls they covered last night. The Starlight Ball, the Liberty Ball, and the Commander-in-Chief Ball, seeing if she was going to wear 3 different outfits, but she wore the same one the whole time. But regardless, the one she wore for the, here in the hat over my shoulder, one of the Fox News announcers called it the hat of ages. The custom, in fact, they're talking about it right now, the custom hat. Yeah, let's just put that through here.
To work. Yes. Well, speaking of getting to work, thank you all so much for watching us work today. Don't forget to DVR your shows when you can't watch us live. And for now, here's...
We missed the inauguration hat section. Anyway, you're right, though. And she brings, I think it's a good look for the U.S., frankly. It's a good look to have a strong president and to him have a classy, sophisticated wife like that. And yes, well, you had to say that. Yeah, I get what you mean, Kitching. And that doesn't, I mean, when George H.W. Bush, the original President Bush, was president, we had Barbara Bush. That was also great. She's like the nation's grandmother. That was awesome. I personally am not a fan of Michelle Obama. She comes off caustic. just she comes off like she knows it all, and if you don't think that's right, then get out. And especially during this election cycle, that side of her personality really came out. And I'm from Chicago, not from there, but I've lived there most of my life. And she's from there, and she was never well liked in Chicago. Let me put it that way. Never well liked, except by Mr. Barack Obama, who did like her, married her. That Carmen San Diego look. Speaking of Carmen, how about Carmen Crypto? Where is Carmen Crypto? Anyway, everyone, thanks for joining us. Apparently, the Rumble is not being nice to us here. Let's get the comments going here. Welcome everybody. Subscribe, follow, just do it. Did not post in Rumble. Why not? Because I do not have the Rumble. Welcome, Mikester on Rumble. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Welcome everyone on Rumble. Please like, share, and comment. Just do it. Normally I have Pedro doing this, but Pedro is sidetracked right now. I am also sidetracked. I'm sidetracked because I'm in a trade in the token Deep. Let's see if we can bring it up here. Pedro, Tom. Those are my two scenes that I can get to do this. This is the token Deep, DEEP. And I've been watching this, trying to make a little money on it. A bunch of people made a ton of money on it because...
Okay, brother, sorry about that.
You
don't even know, bro. You don't even know what's going on, dude. The shit.
Pedro's back. Let me turn your mic back on, Pedro. Oh, it is on.
Oh, snaps. Okay.
I was just going over a project called Deep, and
that's what she said.
I walked you right into that one. I knew that was going to come. Pedro, I think Pedro's had his extra ground nutmeg today.
Oh my goodness, dude. Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
We can tell.
With the added cocoa and oh shoot, I forgot. And fresh, dude. You don't understand, man. I am getting so hackish, if that's even a word. Hackish is when you human hack our biome, right? And do this stuff, bro. I've been messing with turmeric and how, anyways.
Pedro,
let's focus here, my people.
Are you actually with all these potions?
Yeah,
you know, like the slick snake oil salesman that goes to the west.
What are you talking about? This is all for me. I ain't trying to sell this to nobody.
All of these potions. No, you're like, I got one for that. I got one for this. I got one for that. I got one for this.
Yeah.
Are you more healthy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Blood flow is perfect. My mind clarity when I focus is incredible.
How do you measure that? You got a little machine there that measures mind clarity?
No, it's just simple as putting
Pedro,
1 + 1
I walked you into that one and you missed it too. The answer to the mind clarity thing is if it's sharper. Are your bags fatter in your crypto accounts? If they are, all this is working. If they are not.
No, it's not. It's not.
Then go back to Diet Cokes and Pop-Tarts.
But here's the thing. I'm like focusing on building a trading agent AI blockchain, bro. Like it's going to get real, like, and people will be able to build their agents on it and send it off. And the blockchain itself, governor will manage usage so that it's really efficient. Like it's like let's say that you're going through Mexi, right? But Mexi right now is having a buildup. Like let's say with Trump, right? Well, it would sit there and literally arbitrage between one over another to find the best way to actually buy the coin that you're looking for. And if you can't do it through your system, it will then say, hey, you need to open up an account here and allow me to be able to set this up for you. Like I'm legitly, but the thing is, it's also, so, you know, I mean, it doesn't matter, dude. I don't care. Let's focus here on charts. And it was funny.
Pedro, your excitement is contagious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's contagious. So we don't mind hearing about it, but it's Technical Tuesday. We'll have to have AI Wednesday or something like that for you.
Ooh. Yeah, because it's whatever Wednesday.
No, we need to get back in touch with Steve over at Legit, and so we can have. He wants to do an AI show.
Shoot, every Wednesday he comes. Yes, for real. Yes, absolutely. We need to sit. I need Steve. I forgot about Steve. I actually do need Steve. Steve, if you're watching this, reach out to me, bro, in my DMs. All right, let's focus on here real quick. Bitcoin. It is Technical Tuesday. Hey guys, what's up? How you guys doing? Sorry, I've kind of been scattered with building some stuff between me and a business associate, and it is getting fun, so forgive me. Tom, I apologize, man. I didn't mean to get off on very tangent, so let's go ahead. We got an hour to get through this, and I got a lot of information to go over, so. Okay, so first thing we always do, right? We always talk about S&P 500 and how it relates to the rest of the world right now. Okay, right now we're seeing Trump is getting into office. He's talked about really taking away a lot of business red tape. In additionally to that, talking about how we're really going to start focusing on building infrastructure here in America, which basically makes it strong. In additionally to that, it also allows America's progeny, children, to actually look forward to get into things, right? Whereas like we've seen, I've showed you guys on here the numbers in relationship to population and jobs, right? And the real jobs versus population hasn't grown over the years here in America, right? And I showed you that from 2000 to 2023 on the debt clock information that's on it. It has a lot of information there. You can go through and look all this stuff up. There's all these links to where they're getting the information from, which a lot of it ties directly to the government reports and official reports. So this is where you're able to pull it from. And he's very clear on where he gets information from. He just aggregates it. All right. So that in itself is going to cause stimulation in the economy. More money is going to funnel into America because there's going to be money that's going to be placed into infrastructure. We already know that China, we've talked about this now for ad nauseum for the last 8 months, that China is having issues and problems with their financial systems. And additionally to that, now the fact that America is going through and Trump is doing what he says he's going to, and this is where me and you, we talked about ad nauseum again, that will Trump have the ability to actually do this? Right? Is he going to have the ability to be able to communicate and talk? Get Congress to side with him? And so now that he actually has, I mean, it almost looks like undeniable loyalty, watching what happened yesterday and also seeing, I mean, even there were Democrats who were at the inauguration, who were talking to him, who it looks like, I mean, they may not be Republicans or a Trump Republican, but they understand which way the situation is going. And so they know they've got to make friends with Caesar, or you're going to end up like a few of his, you know what I'm saying? Like, just being honest. So this idea behind, yeah, and so they need to be smart, and they are, right? And so he's going to have, and him sitting down with Schumer saying, "Hey, we've got to learn how to get along." Schumer, right?
Oh, when you say nutmeg, you mean shroom.
So in that same sense, we're watching this parallel right now where we are going to potentially see some big movements. We already saw Miss, why am I forgetting? Ex-Speaker of the House tore up the paper. Come on, brain. What's her name? Nancy Pelosi. By a ton of the top tech stocks over the last month, right? I've been paying attention to that. Didn't know if she does that. Her husband buys, he likes tech, but like he started going through really, and I was like, why is he doing that? And because he manages her money. And then seeing the tech giants on the panel next to Trump made me realize, I was like, oh wow, okay, he saw that coming. He knew about it. She knew about it. And there's being real stuff being done there. She must have known about the backdoor conversation between OpenAI, Google, Tesla about AI situations. And so this is what we saw here. Now, I thought we were going to see a weakening in the Magnificent Seven. Okay, and I actually have that. Give me 1 second. This chart here. This is the top 10: Apple, Microsoft, Google, Nvidia, Amazon, all these stocks here. Meta, Tesla. I also put, because I think BATS, which is one that I want to, anyways, it doesn't matter. All the top ones that we know to be the Magnificent 5, 7, I've been looking at to watch what's actually happening in it. And you can see here, it's literally aligning with what we're kind of seeing with tech or with the S&P 500. Now, as I'm
what time frame is that chart?
This is all daily, and this is my crafted like chart. You can go through and create this as well. You basically just come up here, and then you see where
You're
it says
on Trading View.
Yeah, it says Trading. You can create that yourself. Nvidia, get the top tech stocks, put them together. I think you can add up to 10. If you want to create some more or take it away, you can as well. I also do it with crypto, but anyways, we'll leave that alone. But so you can see you can divide it by 10, so you get a single number based off of what you're trying to do, right? And it gives you a good little movement in the market. I like this because it just keeps it pretty simple. Market go up. Is this going up? Nope. Then we should see maybe a potentially pullback or a restructuring of the S&P 500, because we know, like, even with the NASDAQ, Apple became so strong that it was just outweighed the majority of the stocks there, so they actually had to restructure it. So understanding that's why I like this, because this keeps an accurate restructuring of the actual coinage, because it's based more off not necessarily of capitalization, but just number pricing. So, it doesn't matter, price movement. So that's why. So let's go ahead and look at this. We're watching this actually starting to kind of stagnate here and kind of chill out. So this also has United Health as well, which is also the largest. I forgot to mention.
Pew.
Yeah. Stock. But I just want to say that. So let's go and check at the ES now. We're watching the ES get going, get pumping. We're seeing though. It is the futures.
Explain it to our audience.
Okay, ES is the S&P 500 futures on the CME. CME is a Chicago mercantile that basically runs the futures for the S&P 500. There are
everything.
Yeah, well, I would say for everything, because there are other houses out there that also have things like this. So this isn't the only one out there, but this is the most widely used.
Volume going down, but the price going up. What's up with that, Pedro?
Exactly. So this is exactly what I want to get into. We're watching volume drop here, as we can see, as I'm marked out right here. But we're watching price move up. Okay. Then I said, okay, well, let's check out the actual where did I put it? Where'd you go? Here we go. The top 10, and we're watching that it's becoming stagnant, right? You see this? It's not moving up. It's actually going sideways right here. Okay, so to me, I'm seeing that we're seeing sellers pick up. Come on, sellers pick up right here, right, and not enough buyers. So to me, this shows that this potentially is a false run up with the S&P 500, where they're basically looking, if it goes up, what must it do?
It must go down. That means that I think I want to buy a put on the S&P 500 futures.
Yes, sir.
Or on the S&P 500.
That's exactly. Or something of that nature. And don't overdo it. Make sure you use smart money management. Please do not.
I use Robinhood, and you can do basically $1 at a time. Good. It's not like the CME where you got to put down a huge money and have margin and all this type of stuff. It's
real.
You can do it on the shitter.
Yeah. All right, cool. So you understand. All right. Okay, from there, Tom, By the way, you need to set up a DYOR Media account for Robinhood and give our people the ability to be able to do that. And so me and you can make money off it, off the calls, as well as the ability for that, right?
I don't know if I can do that, but I will check into that. Robinhood's it's not a
juggernaut
DeFi thing. It's a real thing.
Yep. Now, the other part behind it, we've been talking now this for almost 2 years now since I've been on here. And I've had these lines up here now for a while, right? This was the pullback to the 70 point.
You didn't tell people what you're talking about, though, Pedro.
Okay, so this is the dollar, the US dollar.
The dollar index.
So we're going to look at this because it's really important. And we're also going to be looking at bonds, a 30-year bond, 20-year bond, 10-year bond, as well as the yields here. So you can see here that the Dixie, the US dollar, hit our areas. It came up into our area right here, which was red right here first, but we made it green because it went through, sold off, pushed through. Then once it pushed through our area here of that 107, 108 area, then which was this day, which was on December 18th, pushed through, and I said, all right, guys, this should then act as good support. And you can see, sure enough, I pushed up. We hit this area again. This was the 0.62 on the fibs on the daily chart. And then where it came back, found support again, so it sold off, then pushed back up to the 107 or 0.7005 area. This is an ICT trading number here, as well
as ICT?
Smart money ICT trading style. There is a lot of people who trade off of this, and so sometimes it's used where the institutions will use them as liquidity, but also they do use it because it's a fairly good mechanism. There is the cat. Okay, so here we go. Here we go again on our own. So after Trump comes in, this is where we saw the dollar push up. Now that he's in office, we saw it gap down at the open, and we saw it try to push up. It's been selling off. Now for Trump's mechanism for people to want to buy goods and services here in America, he needs a weak dollar, which means the rest of the world will have a strong dollar. Okay. It was very interesting now that he is in office that the traders said, okay, well, we're gonna play
along. They're front running it.
Yes, either front running it or the banksters are saying, okay, let's sell our money off, and where do we want to put it? Lo and behold, you talked about Bank of America, ding 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 ding, right? Wanted to buy crypto. And so that aspect of wanting to buy crypto potentially is they need to re-leverage or deleverage their holdings so they can have cash to put into places. Keep that on the back of the burner on the back side. So we're watching this, we're seeing, and remind you, I said this area here will most likely be the kind of line in the sand here. From a technical standpoint, we should see a pretty decent fall back down to our level here because one, the world can't handle it and it's too much, but also it flies in the face, and this is what Trump was going to have issue with if this continues up. So anything above that 110 area, the rest of the world is bleeding, and it's basically saying F you, America, and it's not good foreign relationships with us because our dollar is moving up. But the fact that we're seeing it pull back down with a strong imbalance of sellers dropping this down. So that is something to be paying attention to as we're moving forward. Now, the other back part behind it as well is this, that if we start seeing a deleveraging of the dollar where it starts to drop here, and here's the thing, I don't have the correct nomenclature in relationship to how to speak financial terms. I see the charts, I read a lot, right? And then I sit there and I create my own knowledge base and sometimes my own terms because I don't know the correct terminology in finance to communicate what I'm trying to say. Because I'm self-taught. I really don't. There's a lot of gaps in my knowledge that I don't fully know. And as soon as somebody points them out, I learn, I research it. I'm always trying to find where my hidden spots are at that I don't know. So if you are somebody who follows a lot about, if you're a finance major or something like that, and you're like, Pedro, you're describing this, you're describing that, please either hit me in the show and say, this is what you're describing, or that's not necessarily correct because this, and this. You're lacking this information. Please tell me this stuff because I look at the charts and the charts a lot of times don't lie because that's where real money is going to. And as we all know, I'm pretty good at reading those charts. So right here, we're seeing the US dollar, and I'm dealing with worldwide situations that I talk about. Okay. So you can see here, I said we're seeing sellers step in here. This isn't a good sign. We should see a pullback to here. I personally think we're going to see a pullback back to the 104 and most likely kind of find a decent balance back at our 100 area. This would be the area that many of the world's currencies would want to do business with us. This area, if not maybe that 97 area here, as we start to pull back. This is if China and many other countries don't, if they keep buying the dollar, right, then it's a way for them hedging their way from a financial crash. But if we fall, it could bring some strength to those nations as well. So with that said, let's jump then to the next thing that Trump talked about, right, was he talked about drilling. Drill, baby, drill.
Drill, baby, drill.
Yep. And since then, we've seen a drop. From yesterday, we were literally about and crude oil. So we saw crude oil sitting around $78, right? Around during the inauguration. He then says, drill, baby, drill. This is what we're going to do. Cyber syndrome sternness. Okay. So then this morning, we go up a little and then we sell off to the 200 period day moving average. Now, this is really important. We've got a clean drop all the way down to this $70 area, or $79, $70 area, $69 area. And so from these levels here, I could expect us to see some consolidation. Now, this is the other part I want to point out. Do you see how we have a good amount of volume, seller volume coming in? As we're dropping off here, we've got two areas that potentially, the other part, we talked about us being in this range here. We're hitting the top of the range with a lot of the sellers here, and we're seeing it come down. We saw the part here, we saw a gap down to go up to come down. So it's really important to understand that as it is coming down, it's not going to come directly straight down. They're going to find these areas here. So look right here, we have that 73.20 period moving average, as well as the 50, 89, and 100 sitting at the 71 area. So I like these areas as targets. So if you're looking to short, these are the areas. First target is going to be at the 20, again sitting at the 73 area. The second target is the 7116, 7108, 7102, 7092. That would be your second target that you're looking to actually play in with. Then if we'll see it bounce up, create a lower high, then see it continue down potentially to that 57 area. As this starts to weaken, okay, it's going to basically hurt a lot of stuff that's going to happen. Again, I personally think around this level is still a good price point because Trump is going to flood the market with oil, with natural gas. He's talked about this is what we're going to do. We have the largest reserve in the world that we are sitting on. And he's like, let's make it happen. Let's actually start to make money. And we already see a lot of Europe saying we don't want to buy from Russia, but we've had to because of what's going on. But if you're going to actually produce it, we will buy it from you. So I think we're going to see some major demand in relationship with Europe as well, right? I don't know about, we'll see what happens. There's a lot of stuff with the Silk Road. Speaking of what China has built with Africa, and there's still a lot of stuff happening there. I'm still working that out, reading through material. I'm coming up with a hypothesis as we start to move forward here.
Make sure when you do that, you take into the effect of corruption and what happens with the removal of that corruption. And as we saw in Kenya, we saw that the railroad there was a big deal all the way from Mombasa to Uganda. And the president, I'm not going to claim this is fact, but the president and his people they suddenly got rich. And then all of a sudden the U.S. put some pressure on Kenya regarding some of their exports and things like that. And it's my opinion, in the back room, told them, say, look, well, here's your transactions of your bribery. If you want us to release them to your country, keep at this. But the Chinese project has stalled in Kenya. The railway has stalled. And the Chinese are now all of a sudden saying, hey, well, now you got to pay us back. And it's turning into a disaster over there. And that's not uncommon for those Silk Road initiatives. I mean, anytime you're forced over the gun, or over the barrel of a gun, forced by the barrel of a gun, whatever the phrase is, and someone takes a bribe, then bad things eventually happen.
I don't disagree. And I think that's going to have a lot to do. People are going to want to do, I feel, more business with America. Or America with one, because we do produce really good materials. We do produce some of the best stuff in the world. And so if you're going to sit there and work with a country that is potentially, now we are ruthless as well. So, I mean, don't, choose your evil, right? Do you want China as your lord, or lord, I shouldn't say that. Do you want China as your master, or do you want America as your master? How do you want it? You know what I'm saying? So partly we'll see what happens here. So, but I want to bring this up because I'm expecting prices to come back down to these levels here. And then from there, like I said, that 65 to potentially 55 area, which we highlighted right here, it's where I think we probably will see crude oil. That's if we don't have major inflation that actually happens within our economy based off some of the stuff that Trump is trying to do. So, but on the back end, if things start to remain to where he can keep inflation from happening, that will be, and create more jobs and services, that would be the best thing. We'll see as we move forward and how he handles this. Okay, so we understand what's happening here. Let's keep that other idea off on the back end. Let's talk about the 1 month.
Hold on, Pedro. Before we go into the bonds again, let's take a minute to talk about the topic of the show, which will go in when Pedro is done with his bond review and so forth, before we get an individual chart. So I just wanted to remind everybody it's Technical Tuesday, but I put this topic up for a reason here today. Mo Banks, Mo Crypto. And Bank of America launched a press release saying, hey, we would be open to more. Why is that not going away? Where am I? There I am. Bank of America would be open to more crypto and using crypto for payments if the regulators get their acts together, which all our new appointments here, Trump's appointments, promise to get that act together and get some common regulations out. But it's going to be interesting. So stick around to talk about that, because it could have some massive effects on the crypto markets and how we account for them in our personal holdings and our corporate holdings. Anyway, so sorry, Pedro. Back to the bonds.
No, I think you nailed it. Because and I want to also bring this up as well. And I think Trump talked about this.
Wait. Back to the bonds.
I know.
Talk about that later.
No. I want to, because that's what we're going to talk about. So all this stuff could happen quickly. Everything that I'm talking about could happen quickly. What's going on? All right.
I don't know. I hit the wrong button.
All right. So one of the things that could be happening quickly, and this is what Trump talked about, and I'll jump right back here in a second. But he said one of the biggest issues is that I put something in act, and it takes 4 or 5 weeks, if not 3 to 6 months for it to actually get going through Congress stuff. And he goes, that's BS. He goes, there was something that was actually written and done by the president speaking of Biden. And this is when he was signing president, what do you call it? When the president
executive orders.
As he was signing, he goes, one of the biggest issues that I saw my previous, as well as all presidents, is when you do something, it doesn't happen in Congress for 6 months to a year, if not take 2 or 3 years. And he goes, this is unacceptable. This has got to get taken care of. This is not okay. And so I'm like, okay, so if that does get pushed and he really starts to do that, stuff could really get moving. Blood flow could be happening. Peppers could be put through the system, and all of a sudden we got nutrients flowing through the body of Congress. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what starts to happen here. So,
well, I think it was funny who the pretty much the most interesting guy of the moment was the super bureaucratic looking guy that was handing out the executive orders and reading them, standing next to Mr. Trump. He was like a hero. He was like introducing all of the reforms Americans want, and he's just some. He's probably the assistant general counsel or something like that for the White House.
He's an intern from somebody.
Yeah, right. But anyway, it was the pardons that President Trump was issuing.
Yeah.
And he signs it, and he's talking about things taking forever, and the reporter asked the question, doesn't this have to go to the Bureau of Prisons and Wardens or whatever it is? And Trump said, yeah, maybe we can get these guys out tonight. And he goes, well, let's hold on, sign any more of these here. And he said, you take it to them right now.
Yeah.
None of this. All right, well, we'll get to it, and blah blah blah. He's like, you go there, take it to him, and get this thing rolling.
Yeah, like it's really interesting because he knows he's only got 4 years, and it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens. All right, so we got our 1 month bond, which has been one of the highest yielding producing products in all the bonds for the past, 2 years, 3 years, 2 years, since 2023. It has been,
You've
pretty
got
much
that
been
right,
the
Kaching.
highest performing, which has been the 1 month bond. We're seeing now, and this has been happening for a while, now the 30-year bond should be the highest yielding percentage. 30 years, 20 years should be the highest yield there is out there. And it's finally starting to come. We're actually seeing a good balance. It hit our areas here that we've talked about, right? Right here, we hit this. We blew through this. And let's go ahead and pull that. But we're finding support right here. And so we're going to see what happens with bonds here at the 4.38. If somebody actually reached out to me and said, Pedro, you don't know what you're talking about for these zones on bonds. They're not going to hold. They don't listen to you. It doesn't work like that. To that guy, what? Say what? What again? Help me understand that. Help me understand. Liquidity is liquidity. Anyways, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what's called Pedro was right. That's what this is called. You want a technical terms on the charts here, ladies and gentlemen? This right here is called going down. This over here is called also going down. And this area right here is called Pedro's zone. And these squiggly red lines going up and down, boop, 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 boop. It says, Pedro is right. So whoever that was that called out Pedro, you can go F yourself there, buddy.
I don't know. Guy was smart, and he's actually was helping me out. So he opened up a lot of things. But my biggest thing was, listen, I don't disagree with you on a lot of that stuff. And I'm not saying that I know that, because obviously you're more educated than me. But, and this is why, the reason why I brought this up was because literally I was going to bring this up to that individual. And I said to him, I said, but liquidity is liquidity. Banks need it. Like, you don't understand. They can't move markets without liquidity. And so they play games to get liquidity. And then over maybe a year or two, it does what it's supposed to do. But they still need liquidity to do it, to get the prices to do from a fundamental ideology, right? And you ask any major trader, you need to pay attention to these things because technicals work. It's the difference between getting 20% versus 8%. Of buying in the market. Where you buy in the market, And your shareholders will very much like you if you can get them 20% versus 8%. So anyways, yes. So we're finding support here around that 4.39% area to the 4.29%. Also, what I love about it is the 10 and 20 year are finally at a good balance point where, like you can see here, I thought we were going to come up and tap this area here, the 5% on the 10 year. We didn't. We got short of 4.8%. We're starting to see the come down here. So my biggest fear here is if America's economy starts to have major issue and problems in the world based off of what's going potentially might be happening with China. I've really tried to do the way he says it. China. Also what's happening with Canada, Germany, a lot of this stuff. There's a lot of turmoil here, right? So the 10-year bond is a major bond that is bought. It's kind of the indicator. Like credit cards are based off of this, as well as kind of everything. There, I mean, if you have a 10-year housing situation, it's run off of that, your 10 and 20 year. So it's coming down to this area here. I'm expecting it potentially to come down. Where is it at? Boom. I should have marked it. Maybe it's on the weekly. There it is. Boom. This was a weekly and daily. Boom. So I'm expecting to potentially come down to that 438 area, 436 area. Now that's if we don't find support off of that 8, which is the 4.5 area. But I think it's just, you can see here this week we kind of went up and then down. We're not seeing a lot of movement here. So I think it's going to sell through or come down through and tap this area and potentially come back down. And so I see this potentially happening over the next week, not next week, over the next month, maybe 2 months as we move forward here. So yeah, just give you a heads up so you know. I'm going to move this here real quick. And we came down, hit our area here, bounced off, did not catch our area here. Actually, no, it did. I forgot. I mean, we did hit our area. When were we? Yeah. When did we start? No, we didn't start October 23, did we?
Started October 22.
Oh yeah, I always forget how long we've been.
But together. We may not have been. We were on and off in that period of fall of 23.
Gotcha. Okay. So maybe on my show I went over this, and then we saw the sell off here, and then come back. So, boom. Okay, next. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get through all this stuff because I literally got, dang it, 22 minutes left. Okay. Now, US 30 bonds here. We talked about this area on the monthly chart as we're playing. We talked about how it's most likely going to hit our area of the seller wick right here. I believe this was the weekly area. Was it the daily area? Half the time these things move. It's very frustrating. Can you ask that AI that we have in the Telegram? Have you filled it with all of our stuff?
Nope.
Dang it! Come on. I want you to ask it. When was the last time I talked about the 30-year bond and the resistance level here? I'm pretty positive I did put this in here. I just don't understand why this moved. I'm trying to understand why that. Boom. So we saw the sell-off come in from the daily. How far are we going to see the 30-year come down to? I like this area right here, which is a small little area here, but it's a smart area. One, if 30-year bond comes down here, right, we're going to see kind of all the other interest rates drop here. I think this is going to remain as the 20 and 30 year is going to drop. We want to see economic situation improve. One of the ways you're going to do that is seeing industry manufacturing, or when America actually produces goods and services for a job and we see increase in wages, right? I think one of the ways it might be smart to do is for interest rates to drop here, right? And I think maybe talking with Jerome Powell, they're both Republicans, Trump and Powell, and say, hey, look, if we could see a drop in interest rates to really help with an American-centric move in the world, this would actually help. So that's why I'm expecting Trump to speak and communicate with Powell in a decent manner to be able to see if we can see a drop in rates. So I think they've talked about 2 interest rates this year coming down. And I think this is where I'm looking for the 30-year bond to be hitting the 4.53 area, or the 4.50 area here, basis points. Might not, but I just, that's what I think this area is potentially going to see. So that's in a nutshell for there. Okay. Next part I wanted to bring up here was, where are you at? The VIX. Okay. VIX is dropping. We saw the VIX is the volatility aspect behind the S&P 500. It lets us know if there's fear or greed really stepping in. If the market goes up, it means that there is heightened emotion, and whether it goes up or down, but this is typically a good indicator of potentially gauging if there's going to be some major volatility in the market. The fact is that we're seeing it now start to sell off here is a good indication of, all right, because as you can see, it went up back in December, and then we started seeing it climb up again. And I talked about this, and there's a few of these we could bring up, but the biggest key is that we're seeing volatility kind of quail and kind of chill out. So it's going to be really interesting to see if this starts to come down even further, that we could potentially see the S&P 500 continue up. But again, that's a working model. We need to make sure we're paying attention to the details as we move forward here. So that's in a nutshell. Let's check out gold. Gold is showing some beautiful strength for today. We came down, we bought off of our zone here, which would have been a flip zone. Boom. Come down to the 8, bounce up, went up today. So it's a nice little trade that I got in on this morning as it was coming down. It literally was almost perfect. Boom, came down, bounced up, and we just saw it continue up. So it was actually a pretty nice trade. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so that's it. I expect gold potentially to continue higher, but it all just depends. Short term, are we going to see major issues? Meaning, with Trump's initiative, are we going to see, is there going to be market turmoil? Is China going to really mess up and fall apart? Is America going to fall apart based off of the initial jumpstart of the economy that Trump is trying to do? We'll find out. Again, we're seeing them hedge their way into gold, and we're kind of seeing potentially a big old volume spike here. So something to be paying attention to. Here we go. Next one, CYN. So we saw the Chinese yuan here offshore starting to sell off here and lose ground. Okay, because we've been seeing it kind of pick up here. If it starts to run opposite, where it starts to go up as the US dollar starts to go down, then this is going to be a good thing for the dollar. We want to see, if you're an American, you want to see a high yuan. It's really important what you want to see. So that's what we're looking for, this to actually go up and continue up. And then people will want to do business with America, right? Boom. This good for USA. And as Tom said, really, you're gonna chant USA? So corny. I have to admit, I was like, that's a bit corny, but whatever. But I am definitely US centric because I live here, and that's why. Okay, Now, Pedro, you're the next one is you say, all right, what does this all have to do with all this stuff? Well, it has everything to do with your economy, extra money coming into your pocket so that you can buy crypto. Thank you, Pedro. You're welcome. Okay. Now, the other
Good
part
job.
is, thank you. That was a lot. All right. So I talked about, again, us showing strength yesterday, seeing volume come into Bitcoin, right? And to see it really start to come in. We saw it come in. We saw a big little sell-off last night, but I said, I'm not worried about that because we're seeing a lot of people talk about crypto. One thing, I was shocked that Bank of America did talk about it. Normally, they're the last holdouts, you know? But that was beautiful. And they're the ones who really, really kind of control the shadow bankers, right? And so I think that's one of the things that is really interesting to be paying attention to, right? I won't say control them, but just they kind of house them, right? JD, not JD. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Just understand they're I think they're going to start buying up coins. No longer OTC, but they're going to be taking them literally on the open market, which then should be pushing this up, right? Again, yesterday we talked about us continuing up. I expect us to blow through that 110 here pretty soon, but I'm not 100% sure if it's going to explode out of it. I think we're going to see a different type of bull run, very similar to what we see with the market, but you'll have with the stock market, but you'll still have major gains, right? I do think we're going to see over the next year major. Typically in the past, this is what it would kind of look like, right? If in a bull run, right? Yeah. Once we break through here, you see this big push up, like almost like within a month, right? It hits 180, doubles what it would have done, right, over the next month, then come down. Right, 50% retracement, and then go back up again, right? I talk about screaming, right? And all this would basically be done in a couple months, right? 3-month period, right? And then come back down, and then come back up again, right? So basically, by March or April, we see this where it's at 300,000. Then we see a big, huge sell-off, 50% sell-off to that 180, come back up, put the second lower high in, then come back down to sit into the bear market around here, right? Back at the end of the year. Let me go ahead and see if I get the end of the year here. Boom. So this is what we're used to. I don't think we're going to be seeing this, okay? Because just what's happening with the traditional markets. Boom. Like this. Boom. Come back half. Jump here. Boom. Come back down. Boom. Right. Come right here. Half down. Boom. Kind of go like this, come back down, boom, lower high, boom, crash, boom, 50%, boom, drop, and then it holds here, right, for 2 years. I don't think we're going to see that. I think what we're going to see is something very similar to this. Then once it really hits past that 200,000, probably see a big push up, come back down, and then kind of consolidate, boom, push up, and see that type of thing like this. Okay? And potentially push back up towards the end of the year. I do believe we're going to have a bear market. I think we're going to come back down, but I don't think it's going to be such a huge sell-off like we've seen in the past, right? Where it just crashes, because institutions, when all those sellers are coming in, they will be absorbing. All right. And so I think we'll see something like this. I'm drawing this up like this. Then we'll see something like this. Right. And I think those will last probably 2 years, much like what we see with traditional markets as in a bear market. Boom. And then again. Right. And that's typically, I think they can gauge more movement based off of these. So expect a similar movement in this bull market, but not as crazy robust, where you can get 50% pullbacks and 50%, 100% push-ups in a month here, because the institutions are involved. And so they're going to be the ones kind of controlling liquidity, where and how it moves, so that they can get into those moves.
Especially since liquidity is large, it has to be larger now. But when you get up into those markets, it needs to be even more there needs to be more money in it to keep the massive price fluctuations.
Absolutely.
And of course, as it starts moving in that direction, then the trading volume goes up, and then the hedging volume goes up, and blah 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 blah. All kinds of money flows into it, even as original money coming in, and then as derivatives start cycling it through, as they say.
Yeah, bro, I can't believe I did all that in 50 minutes.
Well, at least it's 10 minutes to cover the rest of the market.
Yeah.
And going up, going down, then going back up.
All right. So let's check how.
Wait, hold on a sec, Pedro. Wait,
all right, my bad.
It never got to.
We were going to talk about
My topic of the day: Mo Banks, Mo Crypto, and I wanted to bring it up because it was in the news cycle today.
Yeah.
And for the reason that Pedro, you and I have spoken in the past here about Bank of America when we were talking about. I ferreted out somewhere on a filing somewhere that the Bank of America has, or at the time had the most patents filed for crypto, digital asset related type stuff, blockchain, digital assets, how digital assets are used, including payments and this type of stuff, and all of a sudden, literally the day that Trump's first day in office, they come out and say, hey, we would like to use crypto for payments. And all that needs to really happen is we're ready to go. We just need regulators to, smooth the way for it so it's normal. Now, Pedro, I ask you, I do my graphics machine here, but
Right.
we don't have time left to do that today. Pedro, in order for cryptos to be used as payments, let's just keep it at stable coins. Let's not talk about meme coins or even Bitcoin itself. What really needs to happen? What really needs to happen in the United States?
Is this more rhetorical?
It is, but I'll give you a shot to answer it. What needs to happen for crypto in the United States for it to really work as payments effectively? I'll give you the Jeopardy countdown. Do. Pedro, I'll answer that for you.
Simplicity.
It's not simplicity. They need to be treated as a currency, not as property.
Okay.
Because right now, every time that you go tap your crypto card at the Starbucks, and if there's no cash in your account and it sells some XRP by your Starbucks, that's a taxable event, and you have to report that on your taxes. And we all know that the IRS nobody's actually reviewing them. It just goes into a great database. And is the purpose of the IRS to monitor your Starbucks purchases? No, of course not. Of course not. So what needs to happen, what Bank of America just casually said, all right, we're ready to do this as payments, but you need to change the way the U.S. government looks at it from property into currency. Maybe not for everything. I mean, not meme coins or even Bitcoin itself, but stable coins, starting with stable coins or starting with, a bank's identified payment token itself being treated as a stable coin or being treated as a currency, thus taking it off of the tax rolls and moving it more into foreign exchange type stuff and treating, say Bank of America has a stable coin or even a token that fluctuates against the US dollar, treating it as a currency just so you can trade it just like a euro or whatever, and you don't pay a tax on you pay tax differently on your income from trading that type of stuff, but you're not treated as property. And I got to tell you, there's people talking about adding sales tax and VAT tax and stuff to crypto. They're like, "Wow, you're property. You got to pay your VAT tax on it and sales tax." And people are like, "Whoa, wait a minute, that's not the problem." So anyway, so that would be a fundamental shift in how our cryptocurrency is looked at, and it would be a tremendous deal because it would ease. Well, you originally answered that question, simplicity. And it would ease that simplicity thing. It would make it simple to do. It would make it uncomplicated for companies to take payments in.
Complicated.
Right, uncomplicated. Let's see. Hold on. Let's get to new viewer Eljadid.
What up, Eldridge? What up?
Whatever that is.
How you doing?
Good to hold Trump meme coin. Pedro, I see you got the Trump meme coin thing here. I'm going to finish up here with this 1 second because we only got 5 minutes left. Or we got about 10 minutes, but the point is that we need to watch out because this could revolutionize crypto pretty much more than anything else in the U.S. Other than getting Gary Gensler out. Having crypto treated as currency, or at least aspects of it, would greatly change the cryptoscape forever in the U.S. And it would probably be the decline of Visa and MasterCard because a good example is the other day, Mrs. Striking and I take credit cards for various things. And the other day on a simple $200 and some transaction, we had to pay $7.23 or something like that as part of the merchant fee. It's like trading in ETH. You know, it's like, oh, you can move $200, got to pay $7. That's ridiculous. It should be 1 cent or less for Visa and everybody to do that. And crypto does that. So if the bank takes Visa and charges a lot, they're going to anticipate taking crypto and charging much less, but having many more transactions. So we shall see how that works out. Anyway, let's get to the Trump coin here to make Eljadid happy here on Kick. Thanks for joining us on Kick. Let's see if I can get the great graphics machine to do this one properly. The great graphics machine.
So on our
official.
So do me a quick thing, guys. After this show, I've started to wonder if, because we don't really get a lot of views in YouTube after the show, right? Ours is really during the show as live. And I was talking to a friend of mine who kind of has this YouTube, and I was going to talk to you about this, and I forgot it. It was when I called you this morning, and I wanted to run this by you. But he goes, the comments after that are actually in the bottom part there. If you comment, typically he noticed that he would get more viewers that were actually after, and it would actually be placed as a...
I answer almost every one, Pedro.
No, I know that. What I'm trying to do is get more interaction with our community. So I said to you guys, hey guys, give me, like tomorrow, right? I said tomorrow because we're probably not going to get to a lot of these because you got to go in a few minutes. So put down in the comment section all the ones, and if you could do it individually. So like, I want you to look XRP, I want you to look at this, look at that. And in doing that, then Tom will respond back to you. And I want to see if we can get more viewers that watch us after the live show, because he's noticed, and this is a mutual friend of ours, so he was mentioning it to me. And some of the stuff he said was a little bit off, some of it was on, so we'll see what's up. Yeah. So let's go over Trump here. Trump here is, and again, like we're seeing it push up here, but we're not seeing a ton of volume.
Hey, you got it behind the great graphics machine.
All right, cool. All right, see right there. My bad. Sorry, guys. So that idea here is really important because I want to see more volume. And you can see here that we're not seeing enough. Even though we're climbing up here, I'm not seeing a bunch of demand wicks. As we're pushing up, look, seller wick, maybe one demand. We got 4 seller wicks. Come down 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. But look, there's not really, like you can see, as soon as it goes high, you have seller wicks that come in, seller wicks. So we only had two demand wicks and 1, 2 seller wicks at these tops here, right? So it's not looking good for Trump coin here to continue up. I hope I'm wrong. But it's just not necessarily looking like it's going to continue up. I would sit there and say it needs to get above this 8-period moving average on the 8-hour. It has to. And it needs to get up here with volume. And this is the issue that we're having right now is, look, we're moving up, but what are we noticing?
Volume going down. Not good. A divergence like that is not good.
And remember, we were not on the smaller time frames. We're not putting a ton of demand wicks. So it's one of those things. I can't get behind this. I mean, and I I hope Trump's coin goes up. I do. I'm not in it. I said I'm going to get into it down at these lower levels, but I have a lot of friends that are in it, and so I want them to be.
Yeah, I think it's coming down to those lower levels, just from that aspect you were talking about there, Pedro.
Yeah.
First of all, the newness of it's wearing out. People are going to take their money and go elsewhere, especially if Bitcoin keeps moving up like it is. It'll come down to those levels. Everyone will retrace everything, and then something will happen, and it'll go right back up.
Yeah. And so it's just, we're going to see what happens here. Our only saving grace here is literally the 2-hour period moving average. Okay. Or excuse me, the 8-hour on the 2-hour. If this thing continues up, again, I don't think so. But if it does, it's going to really start to test on that 8. So in the next 2 hours, if it comes down, it needs to hold above that 8 period on the 2-hour time frame here. Again, I'm looking at market cap. I'm not looking at price. Sometimes price, I've noticed, and I realize I'm starting to really look at market cap, how it works. So I'm really liking being able to sit there and look at both. You can also see you have a similar market in relationship to price movement here, right? We are seeing it come in, but it's not, again, there's the declining buyers. Every time we see a pickup of sellers, there's more volume. So it's just, we're gonna see what happens here. The biggest key is if we continue to go higher, just make sure you're paying attention to the seller.
DYOR says, sorry to interrupt you. I watch a bit of the recorded stuff, but it's hard to sit through with the glitches, so I just tune in live.
Oh, really? There's a lot of glitches?
If you could expand on that in the comment section, I'd appreciate it, DYOR.
Yeah, what do you mean by glitches, bro? You mean with our issues and problems that we have? Because it's you definitely when you're.
But then you can skip forward though. You can just go. Skip forward.
I watch a bit of the. Okay, Robinhood listed official Trump after how many days? Yeah, well, this is the
Robo voice. Do I have Robo voice today?
The Robo voice. Tom Oliver, ¿qué pasa, señor? He was one guy. Boris was there too yesterday.
I don't have Robo voice. No, not today. No, but I've had it. I've had it other times. Yes, Tom, you're correct.
Oh, that's
thanks for joining us, Tom. Only got a few minutes left in the show, but thanks for joining anyway.
All right, so I'm back here.
All right, you giving us the goods there. We're running out of time here, Pedro. How about just a quick Millennia meme token here?
Melania? Yes. So Melania, similar situation. Hers is looking weaker, like just straight up. It's like a market cap. I have them down from market cap. It almost came down to our area here of that 40, the 43 or the 437 milli came almost. It's again, Melania has got to, it's got to pick up volume. You can see here, right? Like, there's just not a lot of volume wanting to come in. We're seeing a sell-off. It's got to pick up. It's not above the 8 period. We did have a nice little bounce off of this area. Right when it launched, I drew these lines here while I was actually at the movies on Saturday.
While you're at the movies?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Because somebody hit me. It was like, dude, Melania, what are you? And I was like, oh, shoot. And then, anyways, long story short, bro, I drew this while we were actually creating the new 4-hour. I remember I was looking at going, all right, cool. And so it came down, and then I said, all right, I gotta wait until it starts to pick back up before I do that. And so like it was actually kind of epic because I was like, I should have gotten. This where it was. I actually had it like right here, something like that. And then as it started coming down, and I said, we got to wait for that 8 period moving average for us. And then once I saw that, I said, yep, it's going to move up. So from here, because you can see, like, from just a technical standpoint, we started finding support on that 8 period moving average as we sold off. And I've talked about this multiple times, right? We would come in, we find support, we push up through the moving averages. And then when it got some clear way, comes down, find support on the 8, and then we see it continue up, staying above the 8, and typically taking your first target after it clears below the 8, and then your second target, typically when it shows some form of resistance coming after an area of resistance, right? Which typically shows that it's most likely going to continue down, right? And then after that, you decide what you want to do. Hence, that's what we're going to start doing when we start to take these trades. So that's why I'm going over that here.
Alrighty.
So you can see here now, we found almost came down to our area. But again, do we see a lot of demand wicks? No, we don't. Do we see more seller wicks as we're moving up? Yes, we do. So again, I can't fully get behind this push up here. I'm expecting it at that 437 milli to the 411 million. Yeah, and that's about it in a nutshell. Also,
milli.
I also want to check this out because I was actually given this by somebody. Report the $1 billion baby. Was it $1
billion baby? I believe that was supposed to launch today or something like that.
It was yesterday. $1 billion egg billion. Are they here? Yeah, I got up to, I think it was something crazy. Yeah, it was like 16 million. And then it came and sold off. So I was looking at this. I wanted to, we'll make this. It kind of looks like a baby Trump. So it's kind of, or the billion, or the like boss baby type of thing. Political coins. Boom. Put that up here.
Like the Jeets were out pretty fast in that one.
Oh, bro. Literally, what was it, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 minutes, bro. 40 minutes, and then just dropped it like it was a bad habit, bro. Like it was just like done.
Dropped it like it was a bad habit.
And went from 16 milli down to 3 milli. So I'm just seeing what's happening on this one, see if they're going to play here. I know that they have a pretty decent. What's up?
Our baby. We said that yesterday we'd get to algo today. Maybe algo tomorrow.
No. We'll do it.
No. We gotta go, Pedro. I'm out of time here.
All right, guys. Put it down in the stuff here. Let me just check it here real quick for Algorand. I know you gotta go. I just want to check it to see if anything major. Honestly, I see more seller pressure, but yesterday we did have a decent amount of buyers, so we're putting in it's just a little hard here. It's got to close above the 8 today with good volume. I don't know if we're going to come down, but we should have a decent sell off, at least come down to yesterday's.
Welcome Extreme Car Care to the end of the show. Thanks for joining us. Basecat says everybody have a good day. Pedro, I gotta go. On behalf of Pedro Garcia and I, will talk algo more tomorrow, Dar baby, I promise. Thanks for the show today. Good luck to Bank of America changing up crypto for us and getting it into currency rather than property. And go Trump go with the new regulations and new appointees. All should be good. Hopefully we'll have new information about what's going on in crypto tomorrow. So we'll see you tomorrow, people. Be there.